right, good evening. Welcome everyone to the MSAD number 51 school board meeting for Monday, June 17th, 6 p.m. I know there's a number of either meetings, town meetings, basketball games on this evening. So we have lots to recognize at the beginning of today's agenda, and then some important approvals that we're looking forward to tonight, and the end of some terms. So it's quite an evening to round out this school year. So first, I'm really excited to start with some recognition. We are inviting some of our community members who have volunteered to serve on some of our school board committees. This process happens, or it did happen about a year ago. We had some openings on some committees, and we invited board community members to apply, and we're so grateful for everyone that looked to help serve this community through these board committees and applied, and we have some members that were selected and worked on those committees over this past year that we're recognizing the end of that term. And so what we're going to do is we had two committees that had community members for the board. It was the Equity Committee and the Community Engagement Committee, and we're going to have the chair of the Equity Committee combined to talk about these community members.
So we had a few applicants for the Equity Committee, and the two that stood out were Shauna Mueller and Sarah Allenby for their contributions, their input on the draft of the equity plan that we had a year ago from right now, their experience, and most of all their passion to make sure that every student and member of the faculty had the sense of belonging that the district wants to make sure is always there for every single student and faculty member. So I want to thank Shauna. Unfortunately, Sarah is not able to be here tonight, but Shauna did a lot of work on the outside as a word crafter to help us make sure that we were saying what we wanted to say. And because of their work, or at least in part, the collaboration of the entire committee, we were able to get the equity plan finalized, and that feels really, really good. And I know that the district just kind of has a sense of relief knowing that they have a plan to work off of. So Shauna, thank you so much for giving so much of your time this year and for your passion for all marginalized groups.
Great. Thanks so much. Really appreciate your service. So the next committee that had community members was our Community Engagement Committee, which was a new committee this year. Megan Lichter, who's a school board member, was the chair. She wasn't able to join us this evening, but I am going to share some words that she shared with me. Many months ago, when the board formed the Community Engagement Committee to communicate plans regarding a new school project, we asked for volunteer involvement. We were hoping communications-oriented people would join us, and we were lucky, beyond lucky, that these two professionals applied. I'd like to thank, she said, Via Leanne, our community volunteers tonight. Madge Hall, AKA The Wordsmith, was our idea generator and general overseer of said ideas. She kept us on track with expert strategy and thoughtful ideas about how what we said and how we said it would resonate with the public. She kept us laughing, but also kept us focused on the big picture. I am so grateful to you, Madge, for taking this challenge on and for keeping us polished. And I want to thank Madge. I don't think she was able to come tonight. The next is Nina Cutter. Nina Cutter quickly established herself as a person who could get things done. Bonus, she got things done well and with style. Her eye for design and attention to detail were huge as we started going public with this information and graphics. Nina came up with a marketing plan, stuck to it, and patiently dragged us along when we were lagging. I'm so grateful to you, Nina, for putting a face on the One Campus plan and for keeping our message visible. Thank you to Madge and Nina, and maybe they're listening at home, so. So next up, I am really honored to be recognizing 2024's Employee of the Year, Terry McGinnis. When asked how this nominee, so Employee of the Year, there were Terry McGinnis. When asked how does this nominee engage, empower, and inspire, Terry's colleagues said Sherry is someone who lights up the room the minute she enters it. She makes everyone around her feel special, and she is just a good, kind, loving human. Sherry always goes above and beyond. She is also constantly providing enriching lessons and activities for the whole fourth grade team. She organizes, finds funds, and sets up valuable real-life experience for our learners by connecting with famous guest speakers, either live or through Zoom links. Her passion for teaching and advocating for her students and staff alike are always at the forefront. Thank you, our deepest appreciation for all you do for our district. Really, thank you for being here tonight and for all that you do for our students. Thank you. Okay, so thank you. So next up, we are really excited to recognize our state girls and boys track team. We have Representative Steve Moriarty and Representative Annie Graham, here to help present. I forgot what this is. What this official sentiment in recognition of both our state winning girls and boys track team, which is very exciting. So welcome up Annie and Steve.
Well, thanks, Leanne, and good evening to the board. It seems like just a few months ago that Representative Graham and I were here, and that's true. But this is a real thrill tonight because we're celebrating a sweep. A rare occasion in which both the girls and the boys team not only won the state championship, but did so in identical, thrilling fashion. They went into the last event, which was the same event of the tournament, in second place, won the event, and won the states. Just extraordinary. I mean, I wish I'd been there. So this is really special. So tonight, Representative Graham and I are going to present separate awards to the two teams involved, and you've heard the prepared text before, but this is really a special and heartfelt occasion. From the state of Maine, be it known that we, the members of the Senate and House of Representatives, join in representing the Greeley High Girls Track and Field Team of Cumberland, which won the 2024 Class B State Championship. We extend our congratulations and best wishes, and be it ordered that this official expression of sentiment be sent forthwith on behalf of the 131st Legislature and the people of the state of Maine. This was introduced by myself, co-sponsored by Representative Graham and Senator Peirce, who couldn't be here tonight, signed by the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate. So congratulations to all involved.
My turn. So, yeah, this is one of the coolest things one gets to do when they're a state legislator. And maybe someday you guys will ask me to hand out diplomas, because that would be really awesome as well. So, and you know, we were here a little bit ago, and you may see us back again in a month or so, congratulating the girls lacrosse team. So, it's, you know, many of you know, we've been here for 30 years. My kids have gone through the system. My husband coaches. So I'm always so proud of all that our athletes do. And I also am very proud of our debaters and other individuals who've excelled in this system. And I'll take this priority here. I just want to say I'm really happy that we passed the One Campus Plan. So congratulations on your hard work. I think it was so important. So with that, let me get to the important part. Steve did the best part. So let me do this for the guys, because Anyway. So, from the state of Maine, be it known to all that we, the members of the Senate and House of Representatives, join in recognizing Greeley High School boys track and field team of Cumberland, which won the 2024 Class B state championship. We extend our congratulations and best wishes, and be it ordered that this official expression of sentiment be sent forthwith on behalf of the 131st Legislature and the people of the state of Maine.
Hello. I was here a couple months ago to accept the boys indoor track team sentiment. You know, it's been a great year. The boys and girls put in a lot of work. We were on the track every day. I was actually just on the track, as many of you can probably see. So that just kind of shows, you know, how willing we are to put in the hard work. It's been a great year. Thank you so much.
Recognize Marina Emery, Charlie Anania, representatives of the two teams, and the meet was exciting right down to the last minute, and the teams lined the length of the track cheering everybody on, so it's the way a track meet should end, and it ended in our favor, and we couldn't be happier. Thank you very much.
Great. Yes, anyone North Yarmouth, town meeting starts at 6:30, time check. So one of the other teams that I did want to honor this evening, which is not, I've had to ask some more information around like what's the official rules on the recognition of our ultimate teams. I know as a parent of an ultimate player, the participation is very high, and there's so much positive energy around ultimate in this community, and I would be remiss to not honor and recognize the girls' ultimate team for once again winning the state championship. And I think there may be a few players here for girls' ultimate. Yeah? Would you mind coming? Well, one, stand to be recognized. And do you mind coming up for a moment to be recognized? So we just wanted to also take this chance because I know that because this is it's adjacent but not an official school sport, that I wanted to make sure that our community and our board knows the incredible athletes that we have on our ultimate team. And is that your state championship Frisbee? Amazing. So thank you, and thank you to your team, and I just so appreciate what the athletes of the ultimate bring to our community, because being a parent of it, it's just really incredible, and I'm glad we can recognize you. Oh, I'm getting a picture too. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. All right, so this part of the recognition is a little bittersweet. We're recognizing our outgoing board members. So as you know, we have 3 seats that were up for election this year, 2 in Cumberland, 1 in North Yarmouth, which means we have 3 outgoing board members. So I am going to start by recognizing Denny, which you're usually to my right. It's like, I'm getting confused today. Anna, thought for your last meeting you need a chance to sit over here. It was such a pleasure meeting you a little over a year ago outside of Dara. You have a long track record of service to our community, and we so appreciate you stepping up and forward to help us on the board this past year. It's been really, it would have been easy for you just to fill the seat, but you took the role seriously and always made your opinion known and really helped, came here to work and really helped the board over this past year. And we so appreciate the impact that you've had, everything from really supporting the recycling program, get up and running, and connecting with the students, and all the conversations that we had up to this point to get the school passed. And it's just really, you've always pushed and asked important questions, and I've so appreciated the year of service and getting to know you better. So thank you so much. All right. Tom, I had pages and pages of things I was going to say, but I also know there's a game on later, so.
Best gift we could give Tom is to end.
So my North
Could you pick it up, Leanne?
So my North Yarmouth neighbor, the thought of running for school board was a frightening one for me, but as I watched your first year on the board, how you always handled yourself with grace and quiet determination, and I always thought to myself, if I could be a board member even a little like Tom, that would be okay. Whenever you speak, everyone on this board listens closely because we know how thoughtful and reflective your comments are going to be. North Yarmouth and MSAD 51 have been lucky to have you for these past 3 years, and I look forward to you staying involved in our schools and communities in a variety of ways going forward. And I probably know one of those important ways is basketball and maybe the expanded gym. And so from the board, we have a signed basketball from the 2023-24 school board year in your honor. So thanks again for all that you've done for our community, and Chair of Finance this year, and Chair of Curriculum. All the impact has been going to be felt for many years. So thank you.
I love it. Thank you.
All right, Anne. So you are our longest tenured board member who's terming off. I truly don't know what I would have done without your service and the continuity that you've been able to provide for the past 6 years. You're a role model for anyone looking to live their values, and you're always thinking about how to protect the marginalized and to push us as a community to treat each other with humanity and respect. Doing that work is not always comfortable, but is important, and you gave so much of yourself to this work and to all of us. I will forever think of you as a figure of strength and resilience, and thank you for all that you've done for our schools and communities. Cumberland is very lucky to have you, and I know that we haven't seen the last of you, so thank you so much. And we have gift bags. I didn't throw Tom's. We have that, and we also, the board has made a donation. The board has made a donation to the Equality Community Center, and in honor of you. I don't want to say in memory. Just truly, thank you for your service. Now it really is warm in here. So, now moving to approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 3rd meeting as presented?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
I abstain.
Yeah, thank you. Kim and Ann. Okay, so now public comments. So the board welcomes and recognizes the value of public comment, and to ensure comment is fair and orderly, we follow procedures outlined in our board policy BEDH. and we ask that all members of the public do so as well. We follow this policy to keep the meeting civil, respectful, and productive. We also hope that this allows for all community members who would like to speak to be heard. We ask that speakers use the designated podium when making their comments and speak into the microphone. If you are interested in speaking, please wait until recognized by the chair. Comments by individuals are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes at a meeting. A clock is visible on screen to help you keep track of time. After 3 minutes, the timer will go off and your comment should be wrapped up. Please state your name and town of residence before beginning your remarks. Residents and staff members will be given priority. As a reminder, public comment is not a time for discussion, Q&A, or debate between the board and members. Lastly, please keep comments respectful and civil. We are neighbors here. Please be kind. Is anyone here to speak for public comment? Okay. Great. Thanks, everyone. Okay. I know. I don't want to assume and then not read. Okay. So, presentations?
There's none.
There is none. Look at us. Now we have the first of a number of items for action. Can I get a motion for the junior student representative?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Great.
Christine.
Christina, would you like to present this item?
Sure.
Or,
I'd love to.
okay.
Is there a script or just
Oh,
I'm winging
I'm
it?
sorry.
That's
I
all right.
might be looking at something that other people
I can
aren't
come look
looking
at
at. Okay, so this is a motion to approve Catherine Wallace as the junior student representative for the 2024-25 school year. And so there was a process that the board, Christina as the board rep was part of, and I'm gonna assume, I know we haven't met. Hi, Katie. It's very nice to meet you. So there's a process that involves the admin at the high school and a board member, and Sophia was part of the committee that reviews applications. And Christina, do you want to talk a little bit about that process?
There were a lot of applicants. It was very challenging. We'd like to take them all, but there's limited time and space. So yes, Katie really stood out, and we talked among ourselves and thought she would be great to join the board. So welcome.
Great. Any questions? Great. All in favor? It was unanimous. We're very excited to have you join us up here. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And it's good to see you.
You can either join us up here, or I know sometimes that happens, or you can wait till your next meeting. Completely.
It's your
up to you.
last chance
Oh.
to leave early. It's your last chance. Just saying.
That seems like a lot of I mean, you are welcome to, but that sounds
One year we had a student that just came right up,
Oh.
sat down,
really.
right after being approved.
Oh.
So it's totally up.
It's totally
Most
up to
people
you.
leave.
Yeah. I mean, might be your last chance to sit next to Tom. Yay.
Come on over.
That's so exciting. Thanks, Katie. Great. Okay, so next we are going to start with some election results certifications. First up, we have the budget referendum validation. Can I get a motion that the computation and declaration of votes for the district budget validation referendum dated June 11th, 2024, and attached hereto to be approved? That the, I never pronounce this. Aforesaid, thank you. Computation and declaration of votes be entered up the records of Maine School Administrative District Number 51. That a certified copy of the aforesaid computation and declaration of votes be sent to each of the municipal clerks of the member municipalities within the Maine School Administrative District Number 51. Can I have a motion? Tom?
So moved.
Great, thanks, Tom. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Christina. Any questions? So this is, in plain language, to certify the election results of the June 11th budget validation referendum. All in favor? Great.
Yep, you can vote, Katie.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you. First vote cast. Amazing.
Can I just take a moment to thank the voters for passing this? It's something that I don't think any of us takes for granted. So well done, Cumberland North Yarmouth.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Absolutely. Okay, so the next is for the fiscal year 25 budget tax assessment warrants and monthly installment notices. The motion reads that the warrant for assessment of tax and the assessment schedule and notice of installments for each member municipality prepared by the treasurer for fiscal year 24-25 be approved and be issued in form presented in this meeting, and that the treasurer be authorized and directed to deliver to each member municipality its warrant for assessment of tax and its assessment schedule and notice of installments. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Tom. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Anne. Any questions? Okay, all in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. Okay, so the next item is to certify election results of June 11th, 2024 school construction project. The recommended vote for motion is that the computation and declaration of votes school construction project dated June 11th, 2024 and attached hereto be approved. That the computation and declaration of votes school construction project be entered upon the records of Maine School Administrative District Number 51. That a certified copy of the computation and declaration of votes school construction projects be sent to each of the municipal clerks within the district. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Annika. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, so I wanted to do an additional thank you to the voters. As we know, this project was a long time coming and took a lot, both of the current board, previous boards, and then our community members to vote in favor of this. And I just want to say my true appreciation for all that went into this and getting this passed and approved. And I look forward to continuing to work with future boards in the community to make sure that we're implementing this in a way that's reflective of who we are as a community. So any other questions, comments?
I want to add, I'm not usually in this seat, it's not my microphone, that it's not lost on me, and I know other board members, that it was a very close election. And so while a lot of people celebrated, a lot of people also are disappointed with the outcome. I know in North Yarmouth, where I'm from, it barely didn't pass. And so I think I just want to make formal that, that is on our hearts as we move forward with this project. We'll continue to be sensitive and listen to wherever you were on this project to make sure that at the end of it, that as many people as possible are pleased with the result. It was not a perfect, I don't think any of us would say that we were perfect. I know that from, everything from messaging sometimes, or from even the ballots, I know there were challenges on that, and we've had to address a bunch of things, but I want everyone here to know how grateful I am for working through those challenges, and how grateful I am to the community to be patient with us, to ask questions, to engage, regardless of where you were on the issue, and to feel comfortable sharing your concerns with us and your celebrations. So I would have said that at the end, but I want us to have room to celebrate after this, because it is definitely a moment for this town to celebrate, and a challenge that I think is going to improve our community and our school. So I'm grateful for it, but I also want to thank those that might be feeling a little bit less happy about it. So that's my stance.
I would agree with that, and encourage people who were concerned about it to be very involved. There'll be a lot of committees. A lot of things haven't been decided yet, about the heating, about the field, and we do need people's input to move forward. But at the same time, thank you very much for the majority of people that did vote for it, and it was it's really needed by the students, all the improvements and the new school, and I think it'll be great, but we want everyone involved.
And I also, I had hoped that this would make it into the Press Herald article from last week, but I know that I can speak for all of us when I say that we're the 6th board, I believe, to grapple with this challenge and try to solve this problem. And so this is something that we share with 5 other boards worth of and committee members, and just so many people worked on this. So we were able to get the ball across the last 10 yards. I don't have basketball analogies, but I feel like football. I feel like football works for this. We got the ball across into the end zone, but it was moved. Basket at the buzzer.
Okay, that'll work too. Yes, yeah. But many other people came before us, and it wouldn't have been possible without the work that they did. So, yeah, we share this.
Yeah, I'd also like to just add, in working with the 6 boards that Kim just referenced, in working on this project, but also a lot of stakeholders beyond the boards, the leadership team as well, who have all worked on this project and put a lot of hours and time into. Thank you to everybody who's been involved with this project. I know it's been a tough project, and thank you to the community. I know it's been a huge narrative, like Tim mentioned. It was very, very close, and so, you know, obviously we need to respect the fact that this was a project that was not acceptable to about half of the community that voted, and we appreciate everybody's input, and we'll continue looking at that. At the end of the day, I think we all want a product that is very, that will make our community proud, and that's what we're looking for at the end of the day. I also want to make a note about a technicality that has come up, and I just want to put this in front of the board as you're voting, is that there was a question raised about on the ballot in Cumberland, there was the former board chair's name was on the ballot as a signator piece, part of the ballot. There is no material impact on the election. That question did come up when we checked with legal counsel. Both the town checked with their legal counsel, we checked with our legal counsel on the district end, and there is no material, does not impact the election one way or the other. It was certainly a technicality that was missed along the way. But we know you're the board chair, Leanne.
Thanks. Great. Any other questions, comments? Okay, let's do this. All in favor? And then, oh, okay. Sorry, Denny. All in favor. It was unanimous.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Denny's going to keep me on my toes until the very end. Great. Okay. So moving to the next item for action. Anybody want to read this motion? Anybody?
I'll do this one.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
The next item is FY 2023-2024 cost center transfers. And the recommended vote is that this board authorize the following cost center transfers in the fiscal year 2023-24 budget, provided that the total budget shall not be increased by these transfers. The Finance Committee recommends the following transfers. Transfer up to $200,000 from regular instruction to student and staff support. Transfer up to $100,000 from special education to system administration. Transfer up to $75,000 from regular instruction to system administration. and transfer up to $100,000 from regular instruction and special education to transportation.
Thanks for the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim. Scott, do you want to just take us through with these cost center transfers?
So, state statute recognizes the complexities of a school budget in the 11 cost center format that it has to be placed in. So the state statute allows us to transfer 5% from any cost center to another cost center. And this is very common in schools. It's also very common in municipalities to do these year-end transfers. So we're looking at the $200,000 from regular instruction to student and staff support, and that had to do with a technology lease where we structured the payment to come due in this year, and therefore didn't have to budget for it next year. The other one was we also had an unbudgeted retirement payout of leave time, as we didn't know about that at the time, so we had to make that payment. So that would be the reason for that one. Special education, $100,000 from special education to system administration. And you'll also see we've got a $75,000 from regular instruction to system administration. Currently, we've got legal costs that are about $85,000 over what we budgeted. And so we've had to cover those additional costs. And so that's really what those particular pieces are. And then we also have some other things that are still coming in for election cost and other things. So we need to be able to cover the cost of those items. The transfer of $100,000 to regular instruction and special education. We, sometime back, I believe it was, I want to say February, but I can't remember exactly. The board authorized the lease purchase of 2 vans that we
think it was
needed for the district.
December.
Was it December?
I remember
Okay,
them.
So, yeah.
Using them for Nordic skiing, so up
There
in
you
the
go.
mountains.
So
I think it
that's
was a little
why. So-
earlier. We lost snow by February.
And that decision has been, just, a great decision that we made because it's really helped with the transportation for athletics and other transportation that we do in the district where we don't have to send a bus. And so this is to cover that additional lease costs that, we had talked at the time that there would be a transfer to cover this. And also we have additional fuel costs that are higher than what we budgeted that we also need to cover in transportation. So that's a reason for these year-end transfers.
Any questions? Annika?
Just, Scott, I don't know if you can comment at all on why those funds were unexpended, if there's any particulars that we should be aware of.
Sure. We have salaries and benefits that don't always come in exactly what's budgeted, so you may have some funds there. There's, insurance costs and so forth. And regular instruction is actually your largest cost center that has your largest employee cost in it. So that's the area where you would find those additional funds at. So that's really the major area.
Any other questions? All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. Okay, last item for action. It's the election of school board officers for the 24-25 school year. Our tradition has been that an outgoing board member will lead a process with the existing board to put recommendation forward for leadership for the next year. And thank you for working through that with this year's board, and I'd like to turn it over to you.
I would like to nominate and elect Leanne Kandura as chair of the Board of Directors for the 2024-2025 school year.
Can I get a second?
So moved.
Any questions or comments?
Are you sure you want to do this again?
Don't ask
Nobody's
me that.
making you do this.
It's truly been an honor to work with this board over the past year, and I want to thank everyone for the support they've provided me being new in this role and new with this group, and sort of an unknown coming into this, and I just so appreciate all the support everyone's provided over the past year, and I'm just really proud of what we've done as a board, and working with all of you. So I guess so, Tom. But yes, and I want to thank you for trusting me in this role and putting me back out to vote. So, all in favor? Come on, are you sure? I guess it was unanimous. All right. Anne, do you want to do the next one?
And I would like to nominate and elect Kim Vine as Vice Chair of Board of Directors for the 2024-2025 school year.
Thank you, Anne. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tim. Any questions, comments?
So I have a comment. So this is not about Kim. I think it's just more of a process kind of comment. I have challenges with, or I have concerns because I think it's a risk to the board to have two leaders that are on the same terms, regardless of whatever those intentions are. And we have to balance that with continuity. We haven't had continuity for a long time, and I think we're at a point where we need continuity. And so I think that's where it kind of tips the scales for me. But I think that the board, and I know that Leanne and Kim have been way more open to this, and they've shown it this year, which is why they have my full support, that board members should really take advantage of getting engaged in some more like typical vice chair or chair activities, whether or not that's meeting with Jeff more often or town people like select board members, just so that if one of them decides to not run again because they're not crazy, that we have some kind of continuity after that too, that we haven't put all of our eggs in that basket moving forward, that there's some experience. So but I think I'm excited that we actually have leaders going from year to year right now, and I'm excited to continue the great work that you guys have started this year.
I'd just be honored to work with Kim again in this way. So I know what I'm voting. All in favor? Great. It's unanimous.
Thank you, everybody.
Can I just make a note about the process? Because I know obviously people at home watching and anyone in the audience isn't aware of what happens in conversation outside of these meetings. And so I spoke with every member and through this made some suggestions or recommendations for future boards to consider in terms of leadership development and just transition planning, because I feel like that's something during my time on the board that we haven't really been mindful of or planned in advance for. So I appreciate everyone weighing in on those discussions, and best of luck moving forward, figuring out how to do things maybe in a different way, or just to be able to promote more leadership opportunities within the board outside of like committee chairs and such.
And can I publicly thank Anne for all the work that she put into this? She spoke to me for like an hour and a half. So I just appreciate that's a lot of time and effort, and it's not easy, and there's a lot of confidential conversations with that. So thank you for taking that on.
Thank
I was
you.
happy to do it.
Yeah, and I appreciate the recommendation because, yes, I'm very interested in continuity, and if there's any changes that we need to make to ensure that going forward. And hopefully we'll have more people who would consider 6 years of service going forward, and hopefully that will help with that continuity as well. Thank you. Okay, superintendent's report.
So
Oh,
we have an
wait, there's
additional
one other.
action item.
Oh,
Yeah.
where did
It's,
I?
approval of the art
Yeah.
position.
Oh, sorry, it was updated.
The most important one was done, of course.
Phew. That got added after I synced the documents and printed my agenda. So, okay, could somebody who has that motion give that motion?
I move that we approve the professional position as presented.
I'll
This
second it.
is what the vice chair,
Thank you. And for second?
That was a second.
Oh, sorry, Anne.
That's okay.
And I'm not connected to the internet either, so I'm really out of luck right now. Okay, Can you present the position?
Yes, we have a retirement at Mabel I. Wilson School, so this is for an full-time art teaching position, and there are 21 applicants for the position. 3 were interviewed, and you have the applicant in front of you who is being nominated this evening to the board.
And 21 people applied.
We had
right?
21 applicants.
Wow.
Yep.
Any questions? Great. All in favor? Great. Unanimous. Okay. Now, superintendent's report.
Superintendent's report, yes.
Thank you.
Very pleased to offer this last superintendent's report for the 23-24 school year. A lot of things going on, obviously, in the last couple of weeks as school let out on Friday, and a very exciting time. A lot of field days, assemblies, things like that. MIW had a field day, and a lot of students were enjoying being outside, and that's just a traditional way that we end our school year. Another one that's become a tradition is the annual pie in the face, which has become a 2-year tradition so far, and that's Mr. Muncie, the principal of the school, and students are asked to read, and the PTO actually funds this event and is involved in leading the event. So several students, 1 student per grade level at the Wilson School, will be able to be selected and come up and kind of smear a pie in the face of Mr. Muncie, who is a great sport. This is the 2nd year he's done that. He tried to get away with having a trash bag that would help collect some of the pie, and this, the students were asked, "Is that fair?" And they said no, so he had to take that off. So anyway, and then I was called up by Mrs. Orzechowski, the assistant principal who emceed the event, and asked if I would like to participate in the event, which was new this year. So I enjoyed going up and participating. So
How many pies ended up?
there were 5 altogether.
Pies?
Yes, Mr. Muncie had a lot to eat. He enjoys the flavor. It was vanilla.
My kids came back, and that's what they talked about. They talked about specifically you, Jeff. Their superintendent hit the principal in the face with the pie. That was like
I don't know.
one of 3 things they remembered all year to tell me about what happened at school. So,
Yeah, that last part was not in the script at all until about 5 minutes before it happened. So I was asked to do that. But anyway, the PTO, many thanks to the PTO. They fund a lot of things and promote this event to get students reading. So also at Wilson School, we sometimes will have visitors come over to our office, and I had been over to Mrs. Kieran's class earlier in the year, and they remembered something I said before I left the classroom was, love to have you come over and get a tour of our office since I came over and you showed me around your room. So anyway, a few months later, they remembered what I had said and asked Mrs. Kieran's if they could come over, and so they did last week and visited the district office. We went on a tour of the office, met all the people who work there, what their functions are. They were fascinated by a fax machine, the safe. They wanted to know how much money we had in the safe. I would say publicly, we don't keep any money in the safe, maybe a few dollars, and that's it. But anyway, they had a look behind the scenes about how the district office operates, and it was very exciting. You can see the picture in the lower right-hand corner there. That's my office, and they took over, I'll tell you. They were running the school district that day. They didn't even get an invitation. They went right over and sat down and started doing my work. I was like, this is great. Start answering the phone, too, 'cause it's ringing. But anyway, it was fun. In this picture on the left of the students sitting out in front, we have a photo that I had shown them that Carolyn Small from the Historical Society had given to the district as a gift. And the photo is from 1908, I believe. And it has students standing out in that exact spot. So they wanted to recreate the photo as much as they could. From 100 and something years ago. And be able to replicate that. So that's exactly what this photo is, and maybe we'll put it on the wall. and right next to the one from 1908. At GMS 4-5 on Wednesday, the 22nd of May, the library volunteers met with the Chesapeake Island and Cumberland Land Trust Executive Director, Penny Asherman, and Rod Vogel, the President of the Board of Directors there, to give them the donation that was collected during the book fair, and they were joined by students. This was inspired by the Maine Chickadee Award nominee One Turtle's Last Straw, which is a book about ocean conservation and activism. Fourth grade students were explaining and helping the visitors and telling them all the information that they had about this topic. And the other half of the money went to a scholarship fund for the Cumberland and North Yarmouth Recreation Department, or Cumberland Recreation Department, Cumberland North Yarmouth Recreation. Thanks to everyone who supported these causes. We appreciate all the student interest in this activism as well. GMS 4-5 Newspaper Club published their 2024 spring edition. We'll have it linked in the superintendent's report if anyone wants to read it. They do an amazing job. The students do a great job in getting this newspaper published each year, so we want to say kudos to them. 4-5 also had a field day last week, or it might have been the week before. And this is a tradition at grades 4-5. Each class has a color theme of shirts that they wear. They tie-dye those shirts, and then they wear them to the field day. On the last day of school, another tradition at 4-5 is the 5th grade variety show, and 4th graders attend, parents attend, all the staff does, and 4th graders learn what the 5th grade variety show is, and they start thinking about it a year in advance. But all the I was able to catch a lot of the acts, and they were really, really great. A lot of musical acts, just creative ones. This one was a rendition. I forget what the song is from the 70s, but it was terrific. I think it's something to do with I Am a Nut, something like that. But anyway, they were all wonderful, and I think everybody had a great time. GMS 6-8, Team Katahdin went to Boston and was able to have a lot of fun down there for a day, just visiting the museum, I believe. They went to Quincy Market, if I recall correctly, and just had a lot of fun down there. Also at 6-8, Spanish students in Emily Bogner Williams Spanish classes were warming up on Fridays by dancing to the Spanish language music. Recently they chose Mambo 23 from the Dominican Republic, one of their favorite songs from our Mania Musical de Mayo song bracket. At the high school, the Treble Chorus and Director Sarah Bailey have been busy with community performances, most recently singing the national anthem at a Sea Dogs game and performing as the invited guests of the Downeasters Chorus. Also at the high school, National History Day finalists Kelsey, Emma, and Lily were presented the national competition for National History Day in Washington. Their hard work was well received, and they were great representatives for Greeley High School and the school district. So congratulations to all three of them. And as both representatives mentioned tonight, they will probably be back. I expect they'll be back to talk about the most recent state champions. We don't want to leave them out, but that was on Saturday. So we'll be recognizing them as well. So congratulations to the girls lacrosse team for winning the state championship this weekend. Also farewell, obviously, to the school year. We had a couple of big events on the very last day of school. The middle school has a nice way of sending off their 8th graders. The 6th and 7th graders line the hallways. And then the staff and some students will go outside, just outside the school and all the way to the buses and to student pickup. The 8th graders will walk through and get cheered by everybody else. And at 4-5, long tradition of the staff waving and sending off all the students as they're driving by in buses, cars, or walking. And I like to join that each year as well. I join both of those. And it's just a really festive way for the kids to be recognized as they're heading off and out of their respective grades and into the summer months. And MSAD 51 just joined a collaborative with Maine Loves Public Schools. It's through the Maine Department of Education. We've now joined with them so that we can promote stories that we promote on social media. Locally will now be highlighted statewide in their editions. So thank you to Melissa Porter for coordinating that and really being the contact for the district and trying to get our images out. The Department of Education is trying to get as many districts as possible to promote public education, not just in Maine, but outside of Maine. And so they need images and stories from local districts. And so we have signed on to their campaign to do that. And finally, tonight, I'd like to recognize our retiring staff members. We have a few staff members who are longtime members of our staff and are wonderful people. And we honored them at our staff celebration event, the second to last week of school. The entire staff gets together and we honor a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons, and some of them are retiring staff members. So we'd like to recognize 2 staff members who retired earlier this year, Susie Robbins, as you know, and Linda Robb. And Linda is a longtime ed tech in the district. She most recently was at GMS 6-8, but she's been at, I think, every school in the district, even ones that have been closed in the past, and she's just a wonderful, calm presence. She works with students often in academics, math and reading specifically, and she did not intend to retire early this year, but just from some personal circumstances, she needed to retire early. But we just want to thank Linda and recognize her for all her hard work. She's certainly beloved by the students. And Susie Robbins, as you know, was the Director of Academic Services for the last 5 years, and she was principal of MIW, assistant principal of MIW prior to that. Long history in the district, and just want to again acknowledge Susie and all of her many years of accomplished service to the district. Margaret Brown. Margaret has been teaching in MSAD 51 for 37 years. Margaret is a lifelong learner, which was evident when she signed up to take the Letters Literacy course this year, her last year. In her retirement, she'll spend some time gardening, cooking. She makes great Italian dishes, reading, being outdoors, going to Peaks Island, and spending time with her family, including her daughter, who just got married and was a teacher in our district for a few years until she moved with her now husband out of state. One of her longtime co-workers, Phyllis Jones, described Margaret by saying, "Margaret's an outstanding teacher, always putting her students first. She totally invests herself in her class every single year." And her students describe her as very nice, and she always wears dresses. We got to have a special fancy day because she went to a special wedding. I think it was her sister. It was her daughter. Her favorite animal is a monkey. And I don't know her favorite color, but it's probably brown because her name is Mrs. Brown. It all starts making sense now. These came from students. So congratulations to Margaret for her well-deserved retirement. Also at our celebration, we honored Linda McCann Olson. Linda's been teaching art in our district for 29 years. She loves to travel and being outdoors with her family and friends. She also loves gardening and spending time with her cats during her retirement, or endless sabbatical as she likes to call it. She'll be heading to Alaska and Japan, and Linda's actually spent a lot of time in Japan because she's been, and she will continue to be, even though she's retiring, our ambassador here in the district, cultural ambassador to Japan, and she works with students. She's worked with students in Japan in our district, in basically exchanging artwork, and she's done a great job of coordinating that for the past couple of years. And she met with me recently and she said, I'm retiring, but I really want to keep doing this for the district. It's really important. So we're really thankful of that. So she has been part of the Hache Exchange project, which we display a lot of artwork in the GCA. She'll be doing that again in September. So one of her co-workers, Dawn Lane, describes her as being exceptionally dedicated to her profession as an art teacher and to her classroom of students. She goes above and beyond to link art with literature and to expand students' knowledge of art around the world. And her third grade students say this about Linda: she's kind, she likes Japan, she likes going to different towns to explore art. Her kindergarten students describe her this way: well, she has short hair, she likes doing art, and she likes wearing tall sandals. So, right from the mouths of babes, huh? So thank you to Linda McCann Olson for her service to the district. Linda Simmons. Linda has worked for the district for 13 years as a school psychologist. Over her years in the district, Linda has worked at every grade level, helping to assess and evaluate students for the past few years. Her focus has been primarily at the secondary level. She's a district-wide safety care trainer who trains staff proactively and never hesitates to jump in and assist staff in the moment. She's a valued member of our school community, and while Linda is officially retiring via the state in their retirement rules, we are fortunate that she decided to not actually retire and come back and work half-time for one more year. This happens a lot.
Couldn't get enough, right?
People will come back, or they'll volunteer. They can't completely leave us. So thank you to Linda for coming back for another year and helping us out. Karen Thomas. Karen joined MSAD 51 as a 5th grade teacher 10 years ago, although her career in education is much longer than that, more than double. Although all that know Karen as an educator would agree that she holds high expectations for students, both academically and behaviorally. She not only teaches them content, but she teaches them how to be good humans and contributing members to the school community. One of her colleagues described her approach as tough love, but then followed up by saying she's really soft and gooey on the inside. Karen holds equally high expectations of herself. She's willing to go above and beyond. She consistently puts hours and hours well beyond what's expected of teachers to help her students achieve their personal best, all the while finding ways to incorporate engaging projects and activities like the infamous, or I should say famous, it says infamous here, but infamous Jacob's Ladder and crazy fun and sweaty Super Ballerama Dome. A couple student comments exemplify her impact are: she's a great teacher, and I think I've learned more this year in her class than any other year. And I like that she pushes us to do our best. I really like that she taught us about Super Ballerama Dome. As a colleague, Karen's kind, welcoming, and supportive. She's eager to collaborate with all those around her. She's known to demonstrate her appreciation for colleagues through homemade candied pecans at the holidays or hosting a spread for lunches at the school. One colleague said, "It's obvious your impact goes far beyond the classroom." So congratulations to Karen on her well-deserved retirement. And last but not least is Jan Treadwell. Jan's been teaching at Greeley High School for 37 years. And I want to add, she has been commuting to her position from Bethel for the past, I want to say, couple of years. Her and her husband had bought a house up there, and she was so dedicated that she continued commuting from that distance each and every day to Greeley High School. So thank you, Jan, for your dedication. Her students say that she's great no matter how many times she passes them in the hall. She always says hi. And I will say that I've noticed that about Jan. When I pass her in the hall, she always, a big smile and hello. I know that she does that with all of her students and everyone else. She's thought of as very funny, nice, and she makes students smile. They additionally appreciate the way that Jan takes the time to break down content, and she always allows time for student questions. Some mentioned that there was a zero tolerance of silliness during labs, especially for TikTok and dancing, but that she was always easy to talk to and always easy to ask questions and get extra help from students. Staff speak to Jan as interesting and hilarious. She is a former Miss Vail, and I assume that's Vail, Colorado, and an avid skier, traveler, snowmobiler, and is well-dressed with the best jewelry, said one of her students. So thank you and congratulations to Jan Treadwell and all of our retiring staff members this year. We just really appreciate the commitment and dedication in making MSAD 51 a great district for students. Thank you so much. And that is the superintendent's report tonight.
Wonderful. What a nice ending.
Can I ask a quick question? Jeff, I noticed that two of the pictures, I presume if graduation had been there, it would have been there too, use the outdoor amphitheater.
Yes.
And so it appeared that all of Mabel Wilson were sitting in that outdoor
Yes.
amphitheater, and
Yeah.
then 4 or 5, so,
Yeah, they filled in all of the areas of the amphitheater,
yeah.
including the green spaces and the seats, so it was pretty crowded, but yes, we were able to get them into the amphitheater.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that, but,
Yeah.
just the wonderful uses of that.
Yeah, it's a great space. It's used all the time for different purposes.
Great, thanks so much. Okay, now we're moving to our last committee reports in their current makeup of this school year. Tom, finance.
No finance update.
Great.
I have I'd like to make a comment in this time with the Finance Committee.
Okay, sure.
I thought. So, in the coming weeks, the Finance Committee will be negotiating with Joseph Campbell the final price for the purchase of the 1/2 acre of land to accommodate the new school project. This 1/2 acre is a portion of Mr. Campbell's residence at 359 Tuttle Road. In the spirit of fairness and transparency, I hereby call on Mr. Campbell to negotiate a final price based on an independent appraisal. At a special meeting called on February 12, 2023, this school board voted to enter into an option agreement with Mr. Campbell to purchase this 1/2 acre at a strike price of $480,000. I was unable to attend this meeting, and the minutes record no discussion on the basis for this price. Based on my research, I've concluded that this strike price is well above the fair market value. For example, according to the Cumberland Property Record Card, the 2.05 acres of the land at 359 Tuttle Road is appraised at $112,300. Just the land itself. And just last year, the voters approved the purchase of 2.4 acres adjacent to 359 Tuttle Road for $700,000, an implied price of $145,000 per 1/2 acre. While not precisely comparable, these and other price points call into question the fairness of the $480,000 strike price. In my opinion, therefore, an independent appraisal of the 1/2 acre should be obtained before setting on the final price. Thank you.
Do you want me to?
Sure,
Say
yeah,
anything?
I
Okay.
thought we were under agreement, so.
Yeah, and so I did check on this because it was something that Denny had raised, and I just wanted to make sure with legal counsel what our answer is, just so that it's public information.
Great.
And the option agreement that was signed with Mr. Campbell in February of 2024, after the board approved the option agreement, and the motion was for the superintendent to execute, we went ahead and did that option agreement based on the amount that was agreed to in that piece, and we negotiated. Once we checked with legal counsel again to make sure that once an option agreement goes through and the voters have approved it through a bond referendum, that is the amount that is set in the option agreement at that point, goes through the bond process, and it is now set at this point. We don't have any negotiating room with Mr. Campbell. We have to go ahead and go through with what was approved through the bond project. So that is the legal opinion that we've been given. I just wanted to put that out there. I did give Denny that information prior.
I would just have to say this, I'm glad this information is known. I'm a professional, finance professional. Options to me mean you have a strike price and you have the option to purchase it at up to that, but you're not committed to it. So this is, in my experience, different than the typical option agreement. I'm disappointed because, again, I think it is way too high.
And policy, your last policy committee update.
We met last week to review KI visitors to schools again. Initially, it was brought, we were going to be bringing it to a first read for the board, but we had received some feedback from Drummond that I wanted to take back to the policy committee because as a committee, we had concerns. We want to make sure that we're doing all that we can to protect the privacy of all of our students, and want to make sure that any language we're bringing forward for that policy does that in the best way possible. So we reviewed that policy again and have sent it back to Drummond, so it will be continued next year.
Great. Thanks so much, Anne. Christina, facilities.
Facilities, we focused on 3 separate agenda items. One was the summer revolving renovation projects that will be done. People see things happening around the schools. And Scott can probably follow up with the details on that. He's so good at it, but I'll finish off first. Also, there was a very high bid that came in for the work on the high school, the science wing, I believe the ventilation system. So that's going to go out to bid again, and maybe that's happened, I don't know yet. And thirdly, we continued the conversation we've been having about the heating cooling system for the new school. At the time of the potential new school, we were considering, what else could we do, but just noted that is still on the table as far as what can we do. So Scott, I don't know if you wanted to fill in at all on what those projects will be that people will be seeing when they're walking around this summer?
I think the one that will show the most is when we start replacing the window wall system on Mabel I. Wilson School. And so the section of the building that runs down along Tuttle Road, that all of the window wall system will be taken out and replaced on that. And then there'll be other things that will happen to that and replacing some of the windows which open as part of that partition system replaced as we get into the fall, just to the backlog in the order of about 21 weeks to get those items. There will also be many of the doors around the building that will also be placed, and this all came from the revolving renovation funds where approximately 50% of the principal is forgiven and all of the interest is forgiven. So it's like one of those commercials on TV about free money, it definitely was free money, so for a lot of this. There's also a tremendous amount of summer projects going on, which we talked about around the buildings. There's things going on at the seating area for the high school. There's windows being installed into the cafeteria of the high school. There's work being done to the interior of the middle school. There's a sandbox, rather nice sandbox that's being built on Mabel I. Wilson School's playground, which has been something that people have wanted for some time. So there's a number of summer projects, including painting and freshening up of the buildings. And that's really what we were talking about at the Finance and Facilities meeting. We let Finance know earlier on during the budget process, and these were all shared during our budget meetings of the projects that we're going to be doing. I was trying to think, there was one other section of this too. You asked me the questions on that, and I just drew a blank on it.
The bid.
Science wing, there we go.
Yeah, the
So,
bid.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, okay. So the science wing is a complex school revolving renovation fund, which is much like the one that we're doing at Mabel I. Wilson School, only it has to do with improving the ventilation and adding AC to the wing of the science area. And the bids came in almost $400,000 higher than what we had anticipated or what had been engineered. So Oak Point's currently revising that, some of the items, looking for areas where we could maybe reduce cost, but not diminish the project that we're doing or the value of that project. Looking at doing some value engineering, basically. And that will go out to bid again probably sometime this winter. See if we can get some contractors on board for the work to be completed in next summer. So that's where we're at on that one as well.
Thanks. Any questions? All right, Tom, back to you. Curriculum.
No curriculum update.
Great. Make that easy. The next one's actually community engagement. And I know that you guys probably had your last meeting. Megan's not here. Is there anything to add?
Just that the Community Engagement Committee was obviously focused this year on making sure that the voters had all the information that they needed for this referendum, but that doesn't mean that the Community Engagement Committee is done. There are still a lot more places where we need to improve or figure out how to really get everyone the information that they need on a regular basis. So I just wanted to emphasize it, that it's not just about the referendum. This committee wants to make sure that the stakeholders always have the information that they need.
Right. Thanks. Kim, equity?
Yes, so I was not here for our last meeting, so I couldn't update the last meeting of the Equity LSC. And we spent that last meeting hearing from, and now I just dropped their names, Peter and gentlemen, if you were listening, I am so sorry. I don't have it in front of me, and I should have. But we discussed the MIYHS, the health survey data as it pertains to equity.
Eric Brown.
Thank you, Eric Brown and
Peter
Scott. Thank you, everyone. So it was, contrary to my inability to remember their names, it was very informative. They really had a lot of input. Unfortunately, we kind of came to the agreement that the way the survey is structured, it's going to be very, very difficult to find out how marginalized groups, or even if there is delineation in some of the categories, for example, when a student says they don't feel safe. So we don't know that we can really use the.
But yes, during this time, if is anything you wanted to say from the student perspective, you're welcome to, or you'll get ready for your official board meeting in July. Great.
Go lacrosse?
Yes. I was able to catch the beginning of the game. Boy, I missed the most exciting part, though. They were at a pretty high scoring when I left. Okay, any ad hoc reports? Okay, we're done with committee updates. Next with communications, we are just sharing the board meeting schedule for the 2024-25 school year. The biggest change is that the meetings will now be on Thursday nights instead of Monday, which makes it, I think, having a Monday nights makes it feel like you've already had a week of work when you start Tuesday. So I'm excited for that change. This calendar will be posted and available, if it's not on already, on the district website.
It is, yeah, it's on there.
And in the summer, we don't meet twice a week. There'll be a board member orientation to be twice a week. God, then I really wouldn't be chair. That we have a new board member orientation yet to be scheduled, a meeting in July, a meeting in August, and then the twice a month thereafter on Thursdays, except if there's a Thursday holiday. So that calendar and schedule is up. And any questions on schedule, calendar? Great. Okay. Well, I think we've made it through a majority of the agenda. We do have executive session.
Before we move into executive session, I just wanted to take a chance to first thank Tom for his service and all of your thoughtfulness and compassion and just wonderful perspective and deliberation you brought to all of the decisions and committee work. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank the rest of the board and the community, because I am really grateful that I was able to serve in this role for 6 years through everything. It now feels like it went really fast. At other times it certainly didn't, but I know that I did my best to serve the students in the district every way that I could, so thank you.
Okay. So can I have a motion to enter executive session to discuss negotiations between the MSAD 51 school lunch workers and the MSAD 51 Board of Directors pursuant of state statute MRSA 4056D?
So moved.
Thank you, Annika. Can I have a second?
Second.
Great. Thank you, Christina. All in favor? Great, it's unanimous. So this will conclude the public part of our meeting. Thanks again to everyone. And yes, our students. And wow, that's the last official end of this year. It's crazy. So thanks, everyone.